In the shadows of history lie secrets that will never be found in textbooks. The Nazi regime, once a force that spread terror across Europe, waged not only brutal wars, but also left behind secret projects, dark conspiracies, and chilling experiments that still make humanity shudder. Today, we will lift the veil of history to uncover untold Nazi secrets, truths that are both real and cloaked in mystery, yet all reflecting the ambitions of a regime obsessed with power. Treasure hunt. While the world believed the Nazis were focused only on weapons and war, behind the scenes, Hitler and the SS nurtured a strange obsession, the supernatural power hidden within legendary relics. Foremost among these was the Holy Grail. According to legend, this cup once caught the blood of Jesus Christ and granted immortality to its possessor. Another was the spear of Longinus, the lance said to have pierced Christ's body on the cross. Since the Middle Ages, many emperors believed the spear could determine the fate of empires. Hitler, too, was convinced it would help him become the ruler of mankind. This obsession grew stronger when Heinrich Himmler, the supreme commander of the SS, devised bizarre plans. In 1938, an expedition was sent to Tibet in the belief that the region held secrets of the Aryan origin. They climbed mountains, surveyed caves, measured skulls, and collected bones, all in an attempt to prove a vague hypothesis that the German people were a superior race. In reality, none of these discoveries changed history, but the hunts revealed a darker side of the Nazi regime, a system willing to pour vast resources into superstitious quests, all for the dream of absolute power. Looking back, those journeys seem like a grotesque fusion of archaeology, racial science, and occultism, and they turned the story of the Nazis into more than just a history of war. It became a haunting tragedy, shrouded in darkness and myths. The Super Soldier Project. Amid the brutal war, the Nazis relentlessly sought ways to turn their soldiers into true war machines. Their chosen secret weapon was not guns or tanks, but drugs. A substance called pervitin was developed, essentially methamphetamine. At first, it was distributed to troops like energy pills. Within minutes, German soldiers felt alert, euphoric, able to march for dozens of hours without sleep. During the Blitzkrieg campaigns, pervitin fueled lightning-fast advances that left enemies stunned by the sheer speed of the assault. But the short-term effects came with a terrifying dark side. Soldiers became heavily addicted, their bodies weakened, and their minds slipped into paranoia. Reports described men trembling, hallucinating, and losing control right on the battlefield. Instead of becoming superhuman, many were reduced to wrecks, broken in both body and spirit. Even so, Nazi leaders blindly pushed the project further. They experimented with new formulas, even combining morphine and cocaine, driven by the dream of creating an invincible generation of warriors. In reality, their so-called super soldiers were nothing more than puppets destroyed from within. Pervitin remains one of the clearest examples of Nazi desperation and delusion, a regime willing to sacrifice the very health of its soldiers to feed its insatiable thirst for power. The Ahnenerbe Secret Society. Hidden within the shadows of the Nazi machinery, Ahnenerbe, an enigmatic organization founded in 1935, became the center of bizarre experiments and quests for lost knowledge. On the surface, its mission sounded like academic research, to restore the pure Aryan origins and prove that Germans were descendants of a superior race. In reality, it served as a facade for a network steeped in mysticism, pseudo-history, and unbelievable rituals. Ahnenerbe expeditions reached as far as Tibet in search of traces of the ultimate ancestors. They excavated ancient tombs and even attempted to decipher medieval magical texts. The group believed that hidden in the past were supernatural secrets that could empower the Nazi regime to dominate the world. Rumors suggested that some of their experiments involved astrology, alchemy, and occult rituals. After the war, many documents were lost or deliberately destroyed, deepening the mystery surrounding Ahnenerbe. To this day, the organization raises unsettling questions. Did the Nazis truly attempt to grasp forces beyond science, or was it all delusion disguised as research? If you've made it this far, don't forget to give this video a like. Thank you so much. Superweapons. In the final years of the war, as the situation grew increasingly desperate, the Nazis poured their efforts into developing weapons far ahead of their time. From the V-2 rockets, the forerunners of modern rocketry, to the Me-262 jet fighter projects, each was envisioned as a game-changer that could alter the course of history. These daring designs were collectively known as Wunderwaffe, the so-called miracle weapons. There were even rumors of more outlandish projects, such as lethal sound cannons, death rays, and even the fabled Nazi flying disc, a circular aircraft allegedly tested in utmost secrecy. Some of the blueprints resembled technology straight out of science fiction, leaving later researchers both fascinated and unsettled. Though many of these projects never reached completion, their mere existence revealed the Nazis' obsession with creating weapons to rewrite history. After the war, numerous German scientists were recruited by the world's superpowers, and their expertise laid the foundation for modern military and space programs. But it raises a chilling question. Had these super weapons appeared sooner, would our world today still look the same? Horrifying experiments. In the darkness of concentration camps, Nazi doctors carried out ghastly experiments that still make humanity shudder when recalled. Under the guise of medical research, they turned prisoners into living test subjects, subjected to unimaginable agony. There were experiments on hypothermia. Victims were plunged into icy water or left naked in the freezing air, while their bodies were observed shutting down. High-pressure tests forced people into sealed chambers to simulate pilots falling from great altitudes. Some were even injected with deadly viruses and bacteria in attempts to study how the body resisted disease. Behind the doors of these laboratories, human beings were stripped of dignity and reduced to tools for a merciless war machine. Even more disturbing, some of the findings from these experiments remain in medical archives today, raising a haunting question. Should humanity ever use knowledge purchased at the price of such torment? These inhumane experiments stand as one of the darkest chapters in world history, a chilling reminder of the cruelty unleashed when science is placed in the hands of fanaticism. Antarctic Base. One of the most intriguing mysteries surrounding the Nazis is the tale of a secret base in Antarctica. In 1938, an expedition was dispatched to the icy continent, claiming a region they named Neuschwabenland. From this mission, countless theories emerged that the Nazis built massive underground bunkers, researched new technologies, and even concealed top-secret weapons there. After the war, the rumors spread even further. Some claimed German submarines secretly transported treasures, documents, and even scientists to Antarctica, turning it into their last refuge. A number of records even mention Operation High Jump in 1946, a U.S. Navy mission allegedly aimed at investigating or confronting Nazi remnants in the South Pole. Although no concrete evidence has ever been found, the idea of an Antarctic base continues to fascinate the public. It stands both as a symbol of the Nazis' boundless ambition and as one of the most enduring mysteries in modern history. Lost treasures. During the years when the Nazis swept across Europe, war claimed not only cities and lives, but also countless priceless treasures. Gold, jewels, ancient statues, and centuries-old masterpieces were seized, loaded onto trains and ships, and funneled back to fuel the Nazi war machine. Among the most famous of these is the Amber Room, a chamber adorned entirely with amber, gold, and precious stones, once hailed as the eighth wonder of the world. In 1941, after the Germans captured Leningrad, the room was meticulously dismantled piece by piece and transported to Königsberg. Then, in the chaos of the war's end, it vanished without a trace. To this day, it remains one of the most frequently mentioned mysteries of Nazi plunder, despite hundreds of searches across Europe. The legends don't stop there. Stories tell of gold-laden trains disappearing beneath the soil of Poland, or submarines filled with riches sunk into the Baltic Sea. Treasure hunters, both amateur and professional, have spent lifetimes in pursuit, only to find collapsed tunnels, empty wrecks, and ambiguous clues. Today, the Nazis' lost treasures are still considered one of the greatest enigmas of the 20th century. They are not merely material wealth, but symbols of the Third Reich's boundless greed and brutality, a scar of history that continues to haunt the present. Ratlines. When the war ended, many Nazi leaders and generals refused to accept defeat. Instead of facing trial, they sought escape through secret routes known as ratlines. This underground network enabled them to slip across Europe, disguise themselves as civilians, and eventually set foot in South America. Various organizations and individuals were involved in their concealment, from sympathizers of fascism to opportunists exploiting the chaos for personal gain. Fake passports, forged papers, and even assistance from certain church officials opened escape paths that seemed impossible. Thanks to these networks, infamous figures such as Adolf Eichmann, the architect of the Holocaust, lived freely in Argentina for decades decades before his capture. Josef Mengele, the Angel of Death from Auschwitz, also managed to escape and survived well into the 1970s. South America, with its dense jungles and large German immigrant communities, became the perfect refuge. Here, many former Nazis lived in hiding, some even rebuilding power networks and spreading their influence anew. The Ratlines are not merely a story of fugitives, but a stain on history, a reminder that evil, in Hitler's time, could slip past justice. The image of notorious war criminals walking free haunted humanity for decades after the war. The secrets of the Nazi regime remain like a puzzle that was never completed. Each time a new truth is uncovered, the shadows of the past grow darker, leaving behind scars of brutality and fear that can never fade from the history of World War II. What do you think? Are there still Nazi secrets left untold? Share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.